My name is Joseph Batista of Eskabo Daan Filipino martial arts. I've been doing Filipino martial arts for 20 years. I grew up in the city of Richmond where there were only a handful of Filipinos, and those Filipinos, we all didn't speak Tagalog. We weren't really exposed to Filipino culture. So me growing up, everyone thought I was not Filipino, so I had no connection in being Filipino, no pride in being Filipino. I knew nothing about the history. So there's nothing for me to be proud about, to identify as Filipino. I wanted a way to connect and learn about my roots. And so my stepfather introduced me to Filipino martial arts. And it's through Filipino martial arts where I learned about our history, our culture. I got to meet some of the cultural bearers, a lot of the cultural bearers. So it really filled in that void. Yeah, so Eskabo Daan was created by Grandmaster Robert Castro. So Eskabo is an acronym for Eskrima, Sarada, Kali, Arnis, Boxing, and Jeet Kune Do. And Daan means the way. So we are a mix of a number of different styles of Filipino martial arts, as well as Jeet Kune Do. But what makes Filipino martial arts very unique is the fact that we specialize in the use of weapons. We have 2,000 plus years of constant warfare between each other, our own neighbors and islands, and other nations coming in to try to take us over. So our mentality is we use weapons from day one. Whereas most other arts, if they even do weapons, you have to be in there for a number of years to learn some of their weapons. But our Filipino martial arts is very versatile because everything we do with weapons is done empty-handed weapon and empty-hand, empty-hand. We kick, we punch, we bite, we have ground fighting. We literally do everything under the sun. There's a reason why military and law enforcement from around the world uses Filipino martial arts. It's because of its versatility. So we have classes specifically for 3-year-olds to about 6-year-olds, right? The really young ones, where we don't really show them the weapons yet because we gotta build up their maturity, but we introduce them to defending against weapons, like how to evade and get away from those weapons. And we really work on our panantukan, which is our boxing, and our sikaran, which is our kicking. The next class after that would be our junior warriors, which is our 7 to 12-year-olds, where they do get weapons from day one. So they learn how to do everything weapon to weapon, empty-hand to weapon, and empty-hand, empty-hand. We show them little disarms, some locks, and takedowns. And when this pandemic is over, we will be doing our ground defense, which is called our dumog, which is our version of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then we have the adults. Yeah, so in both classes, we count in Tagalog, right? And a lot of our commands are in Tagalog. You're twirling forward and into your, what's this called? Kili kili. Armpit. Okay? So what we try to do is you try to expose them to as much Tagalog as possible. But the crazy thing is, a lot of us instructors are actually trying to learn Tagalog as well, right? But we have a bunch of people here that are fluent in Tagalog, and we cross-check with them, like, hey, how do we say this? How do we say that? Which, even in Tagalog, there's still those discrepancies. And on top of that, we have a board that we usually keep out during class that includes the baybayin with the Tagalog word with the English translation. So they're constantly seeing different things. So we just try to expose as much as we can. And on special days, we will bring out certain artifacts and talk about the history that's historical to Filipino history. We've been a part of Pistahan for almost 12 years now, 11 or 12 years now. And the first time I heard it, didn't know what it was. You know, I grew up here in the Bay Area, didn't know what it was at all. And it's gonna be celebrating its 28th year. So it wasn't until 11, 12 years ago until I heard about it. We were invited as a bunch of Filipino martial artists to show up and to showcase Filipino martial arts. So it was my first time at Yerba Buena Gardens, first time at the Pistahan, and I remember seeing a lot of firsts for me. And here, the very first thing I remember is actually hearing the cooling tongs. I did not know what that sound was, right? And I was watching it, listening to it, and I absolutely loved it. And so from that was actually the start of me being introduced to cultural bearers and being introduced to the history and culture of our people. With the parade specifically, yeah. So our first time in the parade, I want to say it was 10 years ago. And that was our first parade ever in a parade, period. And to be there at City Hall, to see everyone, practicing the routine and to see the dancers and see everyone representing, it really had a sense of pride there that I had never really experienced anywhere else. Because prior to the Pistahan, I'd only been to small little gatherings, and to see such a large number of people there even in indigenous clothing, right? It's like, wow, there are a lot of people that are proud to be Filipino, and I can see why they're proud, why they're happy, and it only makes sense to help showcase it. For me personally, from a biased position, Filipino martial arts has some of the most hidden treasures that can expose you to all of our cultures, histories, traditions, and hidden gems. Because me personally, growing up, didn't know much, but because of Filipino martial arts, I got to learn about the baybayin, tattoos, cooking, the dancing, history, So to me, personally, Filipino martial arts is a great way to do it. But in knowing all the cultural bearers, I know that if someone has a question about any aspect of our history, since we all know each other, they will refer people to each other. Like if someone comes here, they're asking me about dance history, I know who to send them to, or tattoos, or baybayin. But I think, yeah, joining a Filipino organization as a whole, is a great way to start and get as much exposure to as many organizations as possible. A festival like Pistahan is a great way to do it because you can see everyone there. If you want to join Eskabo, you can do a search for Filipino martial arts in the Bay Area, we will show up. Or you can look at our name, Eskabo Daan, just do a Google search for that and you'll see our website, you'll see us on social media. Just reach out and we will be in contact.